Welcome to another lecture in your favorite course, Armology. Today we're going to be going over rest times, all right? Meaning, when you do a set of, let's say, standing barbell bicep curls, once the set finishes, how long do you rest before your next set? Okay, rest times in between sets. Not to be confused with rest days in between workouts. Rest times, okay? And this is probably one of the most, if not the most, overlooked factor to your program structure of how you train, how you're going about trying to build up your guns, your pythons. Most people kind of scoff at rest times. If you ask them how long they're resting, typically the answer I get is, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. People don't stay consistent with their rest times. They don't really pay attention to it. They get distracted. They're talking to this person, that person. I've found there to be a sweet spot that leads to significantly more growth. And this is based off of many years of my training, experimenting with all kinds of different arm training protocols. I've done short rests, anywhere from fucking 15 seconds in between sets, all the way up to 7-8 minutes in between sets, and everything in between. All right? And from that, I've created this graphic here. So let's dive into it. On the vertical column here, the vertical axis, we've got muscle gain, okay? Muscle gain, or you can think of it as muscle stimulus, or producing a stimulus that leads to muscle growth. All right. So at the bottom you've got zero. Terrible workout. Zero gains happening. All right. Whatever you did in there, for whatever reason, the way it was structured, your rest times and everything else that you did, how many sets, zero muscle gain. All the way up to the top to swole AF. All right. So that is our scale on the vertical axis. Obviously, we want to be up higher. Now, if you bring your attention to the horizontal axis, you can see we've got rest in minutes. Okay, the amount of minutes that you rest in between each set. 1, 2, 3, so forth. All right? And now, if we look at our line here, starts out at 0. As we increase our rest time, as we start to go this way, we move this direction along the horizontal axis, you can see that our muscle gain starts to increase. So if we were to rest 1 minute in between our sets, we get this amount of muscle gain. If we bump that up to 2, lo and behold, boom, we've increased from point A to point B. So by increasing our rest time from 1 minute to 2 minutes, we're now going to gain more muscle. Now, if we continue along this path, we keep moving along this optimal rest time curve here, you'll notice that it peaks in the 4 to 6 minute window here, where we are maximizing our muscle gain, and we actually touch, as I've marked here with the dotted line, the swole AF level, which is where we want to be in any given training session. And I've marked this window here, the 4 to 6 minute window, with some blue coloring. And we're going to go ahead and call it the column of juicy swollenness. Okay, this is where you want to be when you're training your pipes. You want to be in the column of juicy swollenness. Doesn't that sound like somewhere you want to hang out? That's where I want to spend my days, I'll tell you that much for sure. And you can see afterwards, once we get past the 6 minute mark, our amount of muscle gain starts to dip below the line of swole AF. Okay? So what's going on here? I've found, in my personal experience, pursuing growth of the holy juicy pythons, the pipe daddies, the big old thickies hanging out the side of your shirt, that these workouts lead to the most growth. Now, what's really popular is down in this range here, okay? This 1 minute, this minute and a half, maybe even less than a minute, especially with arms. Superset your arms, high reps, quick supersets, back and forth, triceps, bicep, boom, 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 just get as much blood in the muscle as possible. I am telling you, BS. Doesn't work, okay? Maybe when you first start out, it'll be effective, because if you do anything with consistency and some level of intensity, in the beginning you will see muscle growth. But I've found those types of workouts, although they lead to a significant pump, you have a short rest time. You're doing a set of curls, ba, ba, ba. You rest 30 seconds, another set of curls, ba, ba, ba. Or maybe you're supersetting, set of curls, ba, ba, ba. 20-second rest set of triceps, bah, 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 high reps, boom, back and forth, bah, 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 bah. All the blood gets into the muscle, great pump, feels like you're pushing your limits. But I've found it to not, that structure of workout to be far inferior to a workout where you're resting longer in between your sets. Over time, contrasting it with many other different types of workouts in between, that's a common theme I've found. So I threw those type of workouts into the trash a few years ago. So I was reflecting and going, every time I do these type of workouts, I get a sick ass pump, but it just doesn't seem to lead to any freaking growth. And when I rest longer, holy mama, the pipes start to grow. So the 4 to 6 minute window is optimal. You do a set of curls, all out. I recommend max intensity, but we'll cover that in another lecture. And then you rest 4 to 6 minutes. Now you may be saying, Matt, what the hell am I going to do in the gym for 5, 6 minutes in between each set? You got to watch the lecture on supersets, okay? Because if you superset your arm workouts, it allows you to take advantage. I'm going to say biceps. And then here we're going to go triceps. All right? Meaning a biceps exercise and a triceps exercise. Okay? And then here we're going to get our rest. I'm going to say 2 minutes. Sure. And here we're going to get our rest. I'm going to say another 2 minutes. Total, this whole thing is probably going to take us 5 to 6 minutes. So what's going on here? If you structure your workouts in a superset style, it allows you to take advantage of this 4 to 6 minute rest window while not just standing around doing absolutely dick all in between your sets. So you do your set of biceps, standing barbell curls. You rest 2 minutes, okay? Then you do your set of triceps, barbell skull crushers, whatever it may be. And then you rest another 2 minutes, okay? And in this whole time, you did your biceps, you rested 2 minutes. You did your triceps, you rested 2 minutes. So you've got 4 minutes of rest, plus the set of triceps maybe takes 30 seconds, plus you fuck around for another 30 seconds. It's going to be about 5 minutes before you get back to your next set of biceps. So basically, you're putting your triceps in the rest time of your biceps and vice versa. If you were to take your set of triceps, you do your laying barbell skull crushers, you rest 2 minutes, you do biceps, you rest 2 minutes, you rested 4 minutes, plus the set of biceps again, 4.5, 5 minutes rest in between each set of triceps. So that is the way to structure it, where you can take advantage of hanging out in this column of juicy swollenness and resting 4 to 6 minutes without just having to stand around in between each individual set. So each muscle gets that 5 to 6 minute rest, which is most important. As you can see here, the individual rest times in between sets is lower. I'm putting 2 minutes. Go, whoa, what is that? But that's for your whole body. But each muscle itself, how long does that muscle rest before you hit it again with another set? That's what we're really focusing on here. And in this structure, you're going to be able to get, 5 minute rest in between each set for each muscle, while only resting 2 minutes in between each set in general that you do. And that makes it a lot better, because the last point I'll touch on here is this little zone here. I would call this the zone of bored AF. Okay? Because once you start resting more than 6 minutes, more than a 6 minute round there, you're just hanging around too long. And I've even actually found I started to lose my pump a little bit. I started to lose my intensity. You just can't get into a good flow if you're resting 7, 8, 9 minutes, even if you superset it. So although I've tried it, and it didn't seem to be initial benefit in terms of the stimulus on the muscle to produce more growth. And I would say that then there's cons or negative from losing your pump, being hard to get into a rhythm and stay focused. And so that's why I would say the swole AF line actually starts to dip below the peak of it if you start resting more than 6 minutes, let's say, roughly speaking. So that's the general outline of what I believe you should structure your rest times as, and I hope that it convinces you to take them a little more serious, because if you are looking for that extra edge to get yourself a little bit more growth and you haven't been focusing on your rest times, you just roughly gauge it and you get distracted, you talk to people, you go on your phone in between, that'd be like dead. I should have put a dead zone in here. If you're texting on your freaking phone in between sets, you lose that mental locked in, that focus. So put the phone away, just put your tunes on, whatever you got to do, and start structuring your workouts in a superset style, resting 4 to 6 minutes. That's going to peak you on the muscle gain meter and hopefully get you up to that swole AF level. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you learned a thing or two.